Hello. What's up, guys? All right, I'm going to try and stay in like the shadow so that I don't get completely blinded. In the light. All right. What's up, guys? How are you doing today? I am really excited to come to you. Today is day 5 of my Going Live challenge. And in case you guys didn't know, this is Cat Health Month. So if you know somebody who has a cat, definitely share this live with them because I'm going to be going over specifically urinary issues that can happen in cats. So this is actually something that any cat can have issues with. It's not pertaining just to like one specific thing, though I will say male cats tend to have more urinary issues than female cats. So if you guys have cats, pop it in the chat. Let me know what kind of cats you have, how many you've got, because this live is for you. We actually have 2 cats. They are roaming around here somewhere. Usually they're like, if I'm going live, they're going to be right here. So we have T2 and Honcho. We actually lost one of our, sorry, my dog was outside and he looked like he was walking funny. We have 2 cats, T2 and Honcho. And then we actually lost one of our cats, AJ, earlier this year. And actually, he's going to be the one that I'm going to be talking about the most because he was the one that had the most issues. He was a male orange cat. If I had my little green screen, I could put a picture up of him. But I don't have that going on right now. But yeah, we lost him earlier. All the cats are 10-ish. 10 years old. And so I've really just been excited to kind of have them around because they're awesome. T2 and Honcho are really awesome cats. But I'm here for you guys today and to talk about cat health and specifically urinary issues. So if you're a cat mom, drop that in the chat. Let me know that you are watching. And so one of the first things that's super important when it comes to urinary health is you want to make sure you are helping them with water. Water intake is huge. Cats are desert animals. They do not drink enough water. That is like one of the biggest things that people know about cats. If you didn't know that, drop a little water emoji in the comments. Let me know that you learned something new. So cats really need as much moisture as we can possibly give them. So some of the things that you can do to help with that, because with getting more moisture into their system, you're actually going to be flushing out the urinary tract. I mean, it's super important for us to be drinking water. And it's the same thing with our pets, specifically cats. So some things that you can do to help increase their water intake is getting them a cat fountain. I know it sounds crazy. All the amazing, crazy things that we can do for our pets, right? But getting your cats a fountain actually helps to entice them to drink more water. Hang on. What, Breckers? You know I'm doing a live here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Yes. Sorry. It's always a zoo here. Yes, buddy. Okay, so getting them a cat fountain or some way to kind of help entice them to drink more water is really key. That's an easy thing that you can do instead of just having a little water dish there that's not very entertaining, not very fun, not very enticing. You can add the fountain. We have one. It's got a little filtration system in there because you do want to make sure that your cats are liking the taste of your water. One thing that you can do too is actually get your water tested. And I know here when we built our house, I didn't realize it at the time. We have well water, and we have a high pH, which is really crazy. I didn't find this out until just this year. We've been living here like 3 years, but our cats, the dogs, and ourselves, all three of us, we have a higher pH in our urine because of our water. Like our water is just a higher pH. And so what can happen when you change up the pH of the urine, it changes things, obviously, and cats can be more prone to urinary issues if it's not at that balanced level, which is usually I think it's like the 6.5 range, 6 to 6.5 range, I think is where you kind of want to be for a cat. Definitely check with your vet, but that's actually something we'll be talking about a little bit later. So another thing you can do to help increase their water intake is to feed canned food. So if you're a canned food feeder for your cats, let me know in the comments, drop that below, and let me know what kind of canned food you like to feed. We use one that has like, I think it's 85% moisture. So that's something you can actually look at, is the moisture content of the canned food that you're feeding. You can find ones that have more moisture content in them and be feeding those to really help with that water intakes. Again, cats don't drink enough. They really depend on us, especially if they're strictly indoor cats and they're not catching mice and catching rodents and things like that. They're really relying on us to give them what they need. So between water fountains and canned cat food, you can really help to give them that water. So there's actually a supplement that you can do, you can give them as well, that will help to entice them to drink more water. I give my cats the chicken bone broth, and this is something you can sprinkle into their wet food. You can sprinkle on top of their dry food. Obviously, cats are picky. Cats are crazy. If you've got a picky cat, let me know. My cats, like AJ, it was very hard he just kind of turned his nose up to a lot of things. He was a male orange cat and he was just kind of picky on things. But I would just mix it right into their wet food, and that actually helps both dogs and cats to entice them to drink more water. I know, it's crazy. You put in a powder and it helps to get them to drink more water, but that's another way that you can help them to get that more, like it just helps them to want to drink more water. All right, tip number 2 that you can help with to help with the urinary health with your cats is you can actually reduce stress. So AJ was very much a scaredy cat. If you came over to my house, you would never see him. We would have the pet sitter here all week, and she's like, oh yeah, I saw like a flash of orange. A flash of orange that would come through, and that's all that she saw. So he got really, really stressed out when I left. For whatever reason, I know that's something, I just learned this recently, but male cats tend to get more stressed out than female cats, and especially when their owners are gone. And that was very much AJ. So if you didn't know that, drop that in the comments that you learned something new, because yes, I noticed a pattern that if I went on vacation, and the longer I was on vacation, the worse AJ was. So I'd come home and there would be, somebody had peed on the bed. He was fine the whole week I was gone, but when with the pet sitter, so he was still getting fed, he was still getting water, he was still getting all the things, but he was just too stressed out. And so I would come home and there would be issues, like he'd pee on the bed or he was peeing outside of the litter box. And I'm like, okay, here we go again. We're going to have some issues. But one thing I didn't really realize either was that there was things I could do to help reduce that stress, which I'm going to go over in just a little bit. But also, in case you guys don't know, like if your cat is prone to having issues, like fish or salmon, like salmon oil. You guys know I preach on here, salmon oil, salmon oil, salmon oil. It is amazing for all pets. But one thing that you do want to be a little cautious of is if your pet is prone to urinary issues like crystals, getting UTIs, any of those types of things, you do want to reduce the amount of fish. And if you are giving fish, making sure it's a very high quality, but just in lower doses, because fish can change the pH of the urine and make, those urinary issues flare up, which that was something I didn't learn until a couple years ago. So that's just something that make sure that if your cat is having these issues, maybe cut out the fish and see how they're doing. That's what I ended up doing for AJ, and it helped him tremendously, but he still did get stress UTIs. So I'd go on vacation and boom, I was dealing with issues. So To help reduce stress, there's things like Feel Away. That's a plugin that you can put into like maybe your cat area. If you've got kind of like a spot that's near their litter box or their food, a place that they like to sleep, you can plug this in and it really helps to reduce the stress in that area. I know at our vet office, they have one of those things going on. Why? Because it's a stressful environment, right? So it puts out the pheromones to really help reduce that stress. So that's something that you can get. I know you can get it right from your vet. I'm assuming you can get it online. And so that's something you can do. If you want something more that's like you're making sure that they're getting it, this is Chillax. So anytime we went on vacation or if I was having a party or, anytime that I knew my pets would be stressed out, I would mix this into their wet food. It's a little chewable. Oh, this one isn't open. Sorry. It's a little chewable. It's in a little heart shape. It's really cute. But I just give that to them and you can see little Breckers here is like, oh, mom opened the goodies. He loves these, by the way. But you can give this and it really helps to reduce the stress that their body is having. So again, I would mix it into their food if we're having a party and instead of my cats taking a couple days to respond and like get better, they were out and about and living their normal life like within the same day. So you can help reduce the stress by plugins with supplements, but also making sure if your cat likes to have somebody there, if you're going to be gone on vacation, having a house sitter stay at the house so that way they can give the cats attention, they can give the cats the supplements to really help reduce stress, but also things like doing puzzle games or making sure they have some toys to play with. All of those types of things really help reduce stress. And I will definitely go into a big deep dive into each one of these things, but this is just kind of like glazing over specifically for urinary issues on things that you can do. You can also get your cat's urine tested. So if your cat's not having any issues, the next time you take your cat in for a routine checkup, which should be at least yearly, plug for that, making sure that getting just a urine test. So that way you've got a baseline that when things are going good, you know what the baseline looks like. So if your cat is like having, like peeing outside of the litter box, maybe, because that is one of the big signs. Like if your cat's like having accidents outside of the litter box, go to the vet, definitely get checked out. But you can get a urine sample pretty easy from cats and you can find out like what's going on. And then obviously working with your vet to help get rid of if there is any issues going on. The second or one of the last things that I'm going to talk about today is a supplement that if your cat is prone to having urinary issues like my cat AJ, I would just give him a supplement that would actually help to prevent any of the urinary issues come about. So this is our Bladder Support Plus. Now this is the large size. I do give this to Breck because sometimes he has some issues. Come here. Here you go. Oh, Breckers. You love these. So it's just a little chewable. Oh, sorry. Just a little chewable. And obviously this is the large size for dogs. We do have one that is a small size for cats. I obviously don't have that anymore because we don't have our poor little AJ. But you can use that. That's for like when everything's going good. If your cat's not having any urinary issues and all of the infection and all the crystals and everything are cleared up, you can actually give that supplement to help prevent them from ever coming back. So, because if you've ever dealt with a urinary issue, you're just like, oh my goodness, please never again. I don't want to deal with the cat pee smell, or because like AJ would pee on our spare bed. We actually had to get rid of it and get a new one and put a cover on it. It was a whole mess. But we had, we would give him the Bladder Support Plus to just help prevent those issues from coming back. So those are my tips for urinary health with your cat. If you know somebody that has a cat and having urinary issues, please share this live with them. I would love to help them any way possible because if you're a cat owner and you've dealt with it, you understand. You understand anything you can do to help your pet with you're going to do it. All right. So I will go into a deeper dive on some of these issues like reducing stress in the house and water intake and things like that. So if you guys have any questions, definitely pop them in the chat, send them to me. I would love to help you guys out. And I will be with you guys tomorrow. So be on the lookout for the next live. Bye, guys.